What's up, gentlemen? So there are a bunch of videos that I've been seeing online about the importance of looking poor and why it's so important to basically look like you don't have any money and why this is actually going to benefit you financially. I watched a bunch of these videos. A lot of good points were made, but there are some things that I feel like they left out, and also some advice that I'd like to give you in terms of when it's okay to buy shit, because that's one of the things. If you watch any of these videos, you'd basically think to yourself, I should never buy anything nice for myself because I'm wasting money. When is it okay to spend money on yourself, on something frivolous, something that you want, as opposed to squirreling every penny away, making sure that you are the most amazing steward of that cash that you have curated? When is it okay to be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go spend $10,000 on a watch? When? Well, today I wanna talk a little bit about it. There are a lot of videos out there that I've been seeing about the importance of looking poor. Now, the whole concept I get and I agree with to an extent, but I do want to just specify it's important to look good, all right? And what I mean by this is looking poor is fine, don't look homeless, all right? One of the things that's going to help you get ahead in this world is looking presentable, not to mention making sure that the image that you are presenting to the outside world is consistent and in line with being respected and looking the way that you want to be received. And what I mean by this is 3 seconds, boom, that's all the time you have. And if somebody meets you, whether or not it's a banker, it's an employer, it's a girlfriend, it's a friend, it's somebody that's buying something from you, hopefully, if you don't look good, or if you look like shit, you're not gonna have that opportunity. Dressing well is one of the best things you can do to basically level up your potential success or your potential earning potential. Potential. lots of potential. But you get what I'm saying. The better you look, the more opportunities you're gonna have. You have 2 people going in for the job interview. One person dresses like crap. He's not wearing like nice clothes. The other person is dressed well, polished, presentable. He's got his grooming game straight. He smells awesome. Who's getting the job? Equally qualified. Exactly. 100% of the time, the dude that looks good. But here's the deal. When does it become a problem? So here's my thinking. Looking good doesn't mean you've got to spend a ton of cash. It doesn't mean you've got to basically go out and buy a bunch of flashy clothes. The whole premise and reason why these videos are really out there in terms of looking poor is to encourage you to basically not experience lifestyle inflation, all right? Lifestyle inflation is this. As you start to make more money, what typically happens, like 70, 80, 90% of people, what happens? You make $10,000 more this year, you get a raise. Next year, guess what? Your spending increases that $10,000. So you never truly are getting ahead, all right? Lifestyle inflation, it's real. It's what happens. It's human nature, right? We make a little bit of extra money. That money's like, damn, well, I really think I'd like to buy a nicer car, or woo, I think those shoes, they would look sick and sexy on me, so I'm gonna grab them. All right, lifestyle inflation, it is real. It is something that you've got to learn to control if you ever truly want to get ahead. You also need to look for opportunities to make more money. All right, and I often tell this story. Actually, I don't often tell it, but I'm going to tell it today. $100,000. When I made $100,000 for the first time in my life, that's when I felt like I was killing it the most. All right, and the reason why is because I didn't live up, or I should say I didn't spend up to that $100,000. For my whole life, entire life, I was broke. My entire life, I was working paycheck to paycheck, hustle to hustle, trying to make ends meet. I filed bankruptcy because my business failed. I've always been stressed out about money. 70%, maybe even higher than that. I heard a study, it was like closer to 80% of people out there are worried about money. All right, this is crazy to me. Why are they worried about money? The reason is because they're spending too much. It's not that they're not making enough in order to pay their bills or to have their basic needs met. It's because they're spending that additional money. Their lifestyle inflation has basically outpaced a lot of times the earning, which means you're going to have a lot of debt on credit cards, or you're going to have a lot of high interest stuff that sucks, because the more debt you have, the more interest you're paying, the more you're making somebody else rich. And that's something that basically I feel has helped me or allowed me to basically get a little bit of financial freedom, and that is I pay for cash for everything. One of the things I can tell you is when you start to become more successful, the more you can make it about you and the freedom that you have because of the money that you've made, the better off you're gonna be. If you are somebody that wants to be successful because of you want the ability to buy a Lambo or nice cars, or you wanna buy stuff, Does this mean you're a bad person? No, not at all. It's totally up to you. But I can tell you that the material possessions and just buying shit, it is not going to basically fulfill you with happiness. And that's the thing that I think really these videos about living poor is, it really needs to stress this more, I feel, in my opinion. So I'm going to stress it today. Buying stuff, material possessions, will not make you happy. It might for a minute make you be like, oh, cool, I got this, but that will not fundamentally change your happiness. All right, what will change it is security, helping people, helping your family. That, in my opinion, is what the goal should be. Now, is it wrong to want stuff? No, and that's really, I guess, the next point I want to make. Even though it's important to look poor, because what they're basically saying is you don't want to buy flashy shit or just buy stuff to impress other people or have a bunch of labels or buy stuff like a nicer car just because you're making more money. It's important to live modestly, because the more modestly you live, the more money you're going to be able to have in order to invest it or do something incredible like starting a business. If you want to start a business, I'm going to link down below to the White Label Empire, my business community. I love it. I love everybody in there, and we are doing amazing things. If you want to start a business, I help you. I take the guesswork out of it, and I'm there as a mentor to help you along the journey, all right? Whether or not you want to start an e-product business or drop ship things or whatever, I have basically taken all the lessons I've learned over 20 businesses, because yes, I've started over 20 businesses, and basically created a curriculum that's going to walk you step by step through ideation process, looking for a great product, sourcing those products, marketing, advertising, setting the website up, doing all the things you got to do in order to sell shit. A quote that I heard that I absolutely love is, now is the most expensive word. And what that basically is referring to is that people want something now, and so they buy it now, as opposed to thinking about the long-term impact or putting off now, delayed gratification, so that they have the opportunities, they have the investment, they have the ability to use that money that they would have spent on something that they want right now, and they have the ability to put it to work and save it or invest it or look for opportunities. And I love this, right? And so for me personally, I'm just throwing it out there for me. One of the things that I have done over the years, all right, and mind you, I have not made like much money most of my life, all right? Like I've talked about a bunch of times, I had failed businesses, and one of the things that I am ultra aware of is the fact that I feel like it could go away like tomorrow, right? And if I make one or two bad decisions, I feel like we all are like one or two bad decisions away from being broke, homeless, or in jail. And so for me, one of the things that I feel very fortunate about is that I didn't have any success basically until I was like a grown-ass man. Like I was well into my 30s, like 35, 36, 37. And this is something that I feel is one of the things that has helped me financially. And the reason is because, up until that point, like I said, I wasn't making any money. I was trying to figure things out. I was bankrupt. I was working at a country club, just to put gas in my car and give my then girlfriend, now wife, a little bit of extra money. And so it's one of those things where when I filed bankruptcy and when I was in that position, and the reason why I ended up having to file bankruptcy is because I tried to start a business. I had a bunch of debt because I went and I bought a bunch of equipment. I had bank loans. I had things that were in my name that I was the signer for, like leases to spaces and commercial, real estate. And so when I went out of business, I was literally making like zero money, and that was my only option. And it was such an emotional thing. And honestly, like being broke. And here's the other reality that I've realized is that when you're broke, if you don't learn money skills and you start making money, you're going to be completely fucked. All right. And you look at like all these athletes that basically all of a sudden they go from like growing up like super poor. They get a big contract in the NFL. They got money and bang, like they're killing it. They're buying all this flashy stuff because that's one of the things you think that you need to in order to basically prove to other people that I finally made it. Or, in certain cultures, it's better to look expensive than it is to actually have money in the bank. And this was something that was very alarming to me. All right, little story. I'm just going to digress a second, but I went in to buy my wife a Louis Vuitton purse. All right. And Louis Vuitton, I had never I've heard of it, but I never was in the store. I never really understood the like craze with these. And so I knew that they were expensive, and I'm standing in line. There literally was a line out the door. You had to be let in order to go and shop. All right, the cost of some of these purses are like $1,000. A wallet's like $800. And the crazy thing, it's not even leather. It's like plastic wrapped in vinyl or whatever. Anyway, it's about the hype. And so I'm looking around at all these people, and I'm like, there's zero chance that all these people that are standing in line make the amount of money that I think you probably need to make in order to use this, or I should say, buy something so ridiculous as a really expensive purse. And I was talking to a buddy of mine. I'm like, yeah, it was crazy. Like, how did all these people make this much money? And they say they don't make this much money. They just choose to spend the money they make on this. They've got zero money in savings. And when I thought about this, it was heartbreaking, but it was also enlightening and eye-opening. And so for you, I guess, what's the takeaway? What do you need to know, or what do I want you to know about this whole concept of living below your means to the point of looking poor? All right, so here's the deal. When you are ascending, or when you're starting to do your thing and you start to make more money, because I know that you are, because that's the game you are going to, I believe in you, and I know that you're going to figure this out. Even if you're broke now, even if you're poor now. But the thing that I really need you to focus on is, why do you want to make this extra money? What is it? Why is the reason? What is the reason? Is it for flashy stuff? Is it to buy a nice car? Is it to buy an expensive watch? Is that why you want to make more money? Or is it about freedom? The freedom that the extra money allows you to have. The ability to take care of people. The ability to treat people a little bit better. Maybe take care of your family. Maybe take care of your kids a little bit more. Prove to other people and yourself that you're not a huge loser. If that's the reason, you're going to be wildly successful. It's ego. It is about ego. When you find yourself in the position, okay, I've got a little extra money, I want to buy, think about it. Stop. I want you to think about it for 2 weeks. Do you still want that thing that you're about to spend money on? If there's an expense or a purchase that you want to make, whether or not it's a new car, a new house, a new watch, a new pair of shoes, stop. 2 weeks. Live as modestly as possible. But if you do have the money and you can afford to pay cash, and it's not something that's going to hurt you, or you've been doing and being a good little boy and saving what you've been saving and being financially responsible, if there's something that you want because you want it, fuck it. Get it. Why not? You deserve it because you've done the things you needed to do. You basically didn't spend when you had that urge before. You were able to save. You were able to put that money to work. You were able to do the things or invest that money into a business or yourself or higher value skills or knowledge or whatever it is. You've done the legwork. You've done the hard work, and it's starting to pay off. If you can pay for something and you don't have to use your credit card and you want it, you are entitled to want nice shit. And that's kind of the last point I just want to leave you with. There's nothing wrong with wanting nice stuff. There's nothing wrong with making money, being successful, and deciding, you know what? I want a nicer car. You know what? I want a nicer house. You know what? I want to buy a Rolex. It's up to you. It's nobody else's goddamn business other than yours. But you've got to be the barometer of, is this wasteful? Why am I doing it? But if you want it and it's for you, then do it. You've got nobody to say sorry to. You got nobody to make an excuse to. You earned it. You worked your ass off. But in the process, not giving in to that urge to buy shit just because you see other people doing it is one of the things you're going to have to struggle with. It's something that we all, at some point, if I'm being honest, have to deal with. It's ego. It's that ego. It's that little voice in the back of our head telling us, you need it. You want it. Buy it. Gentlemen, get that ego, punch it in the face, do something better. If you want to invest in your business, do it. If there's a way for you to grow that wealth or do something incredible with the money that you've saved or you've earned, then do it. But at the end of the day, if you've done that and you got money left over and you want to buy a nice watch, do it. Because you know why? Fuck it. It's your life. The other thing that I've learned is you can't take it with you. Nobody gets to take it with them, right? And so if you've got enough money for you, your family, make sure that you're not going to do anything crazy like your kid needs to eat and you're going out and buying a Porsche 911. I get it, but come on, you got to be responsible. Gentlemen, I just wanted to do this little video and just give you my perspective on the idea of looking poor, living below your means, but saying, fuck it, if there's something that you want and you can afford it. It's your life, and like I said, you can't take it with you.